G'day guys, welcome to the Northern Footy Show. It is the Monday wrap, not with Pete again. Pete's off holidaying in Tahiti this week, I think he is, Keeney, but it's Daz and Ben bringing you our weekly wrap. We're going to jump straight into this, Keeney, because footy finals is upon us, and this is where we get straight into it. So let's jump straight in. We'll start with Division 1. Bit of a dead rubber week, you would have thought, and whilst positional changes, really nothing happened there. Let's talk about the games. Let's start with Montmorency went 33-17, 215 to North Heidelberg, 6-6-42 in what was a 173-point win. Now, for Montmorency, you're not going to get a more determined side, really, to make a difference and right the wrongs of some other years, but they certainly put all their correct feet forward on the weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, they've just sort of flexed some muscles before finals hit. So, unfortunately for North Heidelberg and for Casey's last game for North, it was a pretty dim sort of day for him. So, but congratulations to Montmorency, but a huge shout out to Casey as well. All the best in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they released their new coach this week as well, North Heidelberg, so changing times over there at the kennel. Let's quickly touch on best on ground for Montmorency. Nash Holmes, surprise, surprise. He's my red-hot favourite, mate. Excuse me, Itchy Nose. He's my red-hot favourite for the Rosbrook medal. So you got Nash Holmes, Steph Uzelak, Ben Patterson, Camden McIntosh, Lockie Batchelor, and Ben Davies. What an amazing section there. 6 goals to Ben Patterson, 5 to Ben Davis, 4 to Lockie Batchelor, 4 to Nash Holmes, 3 to Spencer Mills, 3 to Ryan Sturgis. Great in for them to have Ryan Sturgis there.
Huge in.
Yeah, 2 to Lentini and 2 to McIntosh. And believe it or not, plenty of singles after that. And for the Doggies, tough day. They've only listed, from looking here, the 1 goal kicker. I'm not sure why that is, but they did. So we won't even go through that. But, look, season's over for North. It's just been one of those years where it's been hard to put it all together. And, they managed to hold on in a year that for most will have, taken that, I think. So, look, it's tough. It's a real tough year. They reset. They get to start again next year. Let's jump on to the next one really quickly. Yeah. Banyule went 26-13, 169, 142-point winners over West Preston, Ben. That's, mate, a lot of people will be sighing a breath of relief knowing that Banyule are not in the final series because they look like they could have caused some serious damage.
Oh, they're the side that could have come in and done some big damage come finals time. So
huge.
But for a side that's just sort of been put together this year, I dare say that everyone involved at Banyule will be rubbing their hands together and looking forward to 2027.
Yeah, 100%. Best players for Banyule, Kyoji, JLV, who's probably my second favourite for the Rosbrook, Josh Collins, Oliver Poole, Liam Mackey and Jack Langford. 4 goals to James Carews, 3 to Max Jones, 3 to Jack Langford, 3 to Joel Peregrini, 3 to Kyoji, and 2 to JLV. A few singles after that, and 4 West Preston. Guess what? Matty Harmon again, best on ground. Alexander Diarra, second best again, according to here. And, those 2 names are put out all week. Nathan Ryan, Arben Denny, Mitchell Phillips, and Liam Hagan. 2 goals for Lawrence Nardella, and a single in there for Lockie Muir. They only kicked 3 goals for the day, 3-9. West Preston, unfortunately for them, get relegated back to Division 2. We've known that for a few weeks now, but they'll reset pretty well. I'm confident about that. Hopefully come straight back up, mate.
Yeah, look, and credit to the work from West Preston to get signings of, their key pillars there. So I don't think we'll miss West Preston from Division 1 for a long period of time. I think they'll bounce back. They're a strong club, and they're a proud club as well. So we'll see them back in Division 1 sooner rather than later.
No announcement for that club at this stage on coaching for next year, whether Darren Buick's returning, whether they're going in a different direction. So we'll watch this space. We'll keep you updated with that. Next game was Hurstbridge versus Eltham, which was an absolute cracker. 18-10, 118 to Hurstbridge. They got the chocolates over Eltham, 17-11, 113. I was actually watching the live play HQ whilst I was commentating the game out at Laylaw, and this lead changed for the last time in the final 30 seconds, I think it was, and Hurstbridge got the job done. Dead rubber for both, couldn't play finals, but, at least both of them fought it out all the way to the end there.
Yeah, and you don't want to, like, obviously you're not playing for anything other than a bit of bragging rights to say that you've got the win, but obviously you want to finish the year off on a high as well and sort of catapult you into next year. So obviously Bongo's had a lot of injuries down there, and so has Hurstbridge as well. So both injury-riddled sort of sides for most of the year.
Yeah, 100%. Best players for Hursty: Joel Naylor, Kalen Anderson, the X Factor, Harry O'Brien, Cam Wild, Liam Middleton, Nathan Nagel, and 7 goals to Joel Naylor. What a great welcome back for him.
Weapon and being missed.
X Factor, 5 more. Guess who will be signing autographs all week down at the club? That will be Kalen Anderson, no doubt in the world about that. Singles for everybody else. And for Eltham, Jaden Collins, Jason McCormack, David Evans, Ryan Gardner, Benjamin Crick, and Alex Bell Chambers in their best. 4 goals for McCormack, 3 for Declan Ayres, 3 for David Evans, 3 for Nathan Kilby, 2 for Seb Malloy. Singles after that to the other guys. Both sides, again, won't be featuring finals. So season over for them. Mad Monday's probably upon their heads right now, and if the hangover hasn't hit, it will shortly. And then we move to the next one, which you were at Greensborough 9-10-64, went down to Bundoora 15-7, 97. Now, these two meet each other again next Sunday at Epping Reserve. So we'll talk about games coming up shortly. But for this one, Greensborough haven't put their best players in. I did watch the replay. I really liked... I think I sent them to you yesterday. I really liked Harry Andronico. I thought he was fantastic. Tom Mitchell was great. He was there and everywhere. I was really impressed with Zach McCubbin, 5 goals, very impressive up forward. I thought they fought as hard as they could. It was a bit of a scrappy game to watch back on the video, to be honest with you. We were obviously at the Ivanhoe v Lorimer game, calling it. But look, for Bundoora, their best were Nathan Phillips, Matty Johnson, Ben McCarthy, Rowan McRae, Liam Kohler and Tom Fry. I agree with that. I watched that game back. I thought they were all very, very good. And their leading goal kicker, Tom Fry, I think it was for him. No, Liam Marley for Tom Fry, 3. And then 2s after that. And for Greensborough, Zach McCubbin kicked 5 and the rest were singles. What was your take on the game? You were there, mate.
Look, one bloke who hasn't made mention in Bundoора's best, and I don't know what he would need to do to get in their best, because he had the ball on a string, is O'Neill Moncrief. He's just amazing to watch. Like, he's very Nash Holmes-like, very Lentini-like. He just gets the ball and he uses it so well. He's got just... Mate, when he turns the jets on, mate, and he's away, he was just awesome to watch. So, look, their speed across the ground, Bundoora is fantastic. Obviously, I've watched Scotto coach over at Deer Park, a few years ago, and the bloke just knows his football. So, for him to... He hasn't laid out all his cards on the weekend, and they've got the chocolates. All I know is that, we just reset and we go again. We've got the final on this Sunday, which I'm eager to get to and watch. But yeah, they look fantastic, Bundoora. They really did. So yeah, it's going to be a big elimination final. So
that'll be this Sunday, 2 p.m. We'll come to that. So, Ripper, Heidelberg is the last one there. 21-16, 142, 116-point winners over Diamond Creek, 4-2 26 best players. This will shock you. Heidelberg best player Luke Bunker. Look, I can live with a three-way tie. Luke Bunker, Nash Holmes, JLV. I'd be happy as a pig in shit, mate. To be honest, because I think they are the three best players in the league this year. I think it's going to be hard to spin, but Lukey Bunker, Sam Gilmore again, Braden Sear, Jordan Smith, Jess Getty, Kai DiMartina. Their goal kickers there, 5 for Braden Sear, 5 for Jordan Smith, who I understand won the goal kicking in the end, 3 to Zane Barzen, and a few twos after that, and for Diamond Creek, their leading goal kicker was Nicholas Barrow with 2, and their best were Matty Lewis, Darcy McPherson, Blake Hamilton, Nicholas Barrow, Nathan Searle, and Jacob Booth. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the end of the home and away series. Both of these sides are in finals. But for Heidelberg Kearney to turn on the afterburners like that, I feel like they had a little payback they wanted to give for losing to them earlier in the year and say, well, if we meet you in the finals, this is what 5th and 6th gear looks like.
Yeah, look, they've got the week off, so they weren't just going to, just sort of cruise through and whatever happened in that game. You want to give that your all, then come back, regroup, and then go again, because they obviously got the week off. So getting that, sort of, he's taking your foot off the pedal in the last game when you've got a week off. So they've thrown everything at Dymo, and whether Dymo, Dymo's better than that. But whether or not Dymo sort of went at 100%, knowing Dymo, I reckon they went at about 75-80%, and just getting ready, get through unscathed, and let's get into the first week of finals.
Now, for those that are watching this back on YouTube, Ben, are you at the op shop?
Look, be nice, otherwise I close the screen and it's all over, mate. But
and for everyone listening, for everyone listening to this on Spotify or Apple or iHeart or wherever we are, he has a hell of a lot of Collingwood memorabilia behind him, also known as trash. Not even the op shop would post that one. But as we go through the final ladder, Heidelberg finished the season with 1 loss, 68 points, 248%. Montmorency second with 6 losses. So there was 5 games of difference there. 46 points, 153%. Diamond Creek, first year up, absolutely fantastic. Finished also with 6 losses, 46 points, 119%. Bundoora, what a comeback. They finished 4th on the ladder with 7 losses, 120%, 44 points. And Greensboro sneak in 36 points with 9 losses and 116%. So we're in for a big one. Interesting fact there is Banyule miss out on percentage by a bit, 19%. But, there was a couple of games that could have gone either way for them during the year, and they might have made it. They will take plenty from this side. Now, Ben, before we go to Division 2, I want to raise a topic with you, right? Quite often I get asked, who do I follow? Who do I barrack? And I say I'm as independent as I can be, right? And that is the truth. I only played for one club, which was North Heidelberg. But I want to talk about the amount of comments that come around Heidelberg, right? Yeah. And so I actually reckon it's really unfair, and I want to explain to you why, right? They have built off-field something unbelievably amazing, right? It's a blueprint for footy. It's easy to whinge about it and take the moral high ground and say, they're buying premierships, they're doing this, they're doing that. On the weekend, right, Heidelberg played with 31 points. You can't buy premierships with 31 points, right? Now, let me raise the questions they'll raise. The guys are getting paid too much. There's no way in the world they're under the salary cap of 120,000 and all these things. I reckon you'd be hard pressed to find too many clubs that are within salary cap properly, right? Yeah. Now, I've said this before. Salary cap, it's there, in my opinion, for a guide, right? Yeah. If you choose to go out that and you get caught, you'll pay the consequences. But I don't know, like you and I both hear off the record that there's sign-ons, there's all these other things, there's jobs. And if your network is good enough to say, look, Ben, come and play on my side, come and play on the Darren side, and, mate, I can only give you $250 a game, but I can give you a job at my company that pays $100,000 a year and all these things, whatever it is, right? My point is...
Is that negotiable?
Mate, I was way overpaying you. But the point is, right, they have such a good business structure, and I think they adopted the business structure more quickly than anybody else in their business, right? Yeah. So I'm confident. I was actually ticking, I've got a little note in front of me. When I got home before, I was ticking off of the 31 clubs, how many I believe would be over the salary cap, just with what I think I know, right? Yeah. Let me tell you, I believe more than 50% of the clubs won't be anywhere near the salary cap, and I know you think more as well. But yeah. I let him go. I know Dale Byrne gets on and defends the club pretty well and all of that, but it is a bit of tall poppy syndrome. They're on 31 points, right? So if they're good enough to pre-plan and get these players in, make them stick around, look after them, have the best coaching panel, available to them, the best trainers, the best medics, and create an environment where you've got Spadooch on the deck and people stay back and they celebrate it, and they're bloody well run under Chris Sutton, let me tell you that. Yeah. And Vinny Dottoli for that reason, and everybody else, Grace and so forth involved. I hate the tall poppy syndrome right now. Ivanhoe, you could argue, the Heidelberg of Division 3, undefeated all year, right? They've gone there. They've got a lot of juniors back. The points probably a little bit tighter there for them, but they're building. Old Paradians, they came up the year before. People were saying similar things about them, and they're rise. They're playing finals. We'll get to them in a minute. But I reckon it's time to let it go and stop whinging and start doing. If I'm mimicking my club, I'm mimicking it on the way Heidelberg have set themselves up professionally. I reckon it's a pretty cheap shot to keep having shots at them saying this or saying that when you don't know. You honestly don't know. And I'll be honest, I don't know what 99% of people are on. I'm confident that the salary cap is way too small. I had a calculator in front of me. It's $120,000 a year for Div 1, right? Divide that by... realistically, say you got to divide that by 25 players, that salary, it's probably more, right? So even at that, the going rate's about $300 a game, right? Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's people on over $300 a game, but who cares? They're 31 points. And they're not it's not like they're the only club that would be doing something like this. So I reckon respect how bloody good they are. And I don't barrack for Heidelberg. I have no affiliation with Heidelberg. I've probably had less Heidelberg players on the show ever than I have any other club. Yeah. Not for any other reason. I just can't get the buggers on. But, yeah, I reckon it's a real hard one to keep putting the boots into them. I think they've been absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's my little $2 shot for the day. Let's move to Division 2, Benji. So Division 2 on the weekend was the first week of finals. Northcote Park 6-6-42 went down to St Mary's 9-14-68, and didn't St Mary's turn it on for the first final?
Yeah, it was fantastic. And credit to them as well, because they've been growing over the last few years too. So to get the chocolates, it's a great win for them in the first week of the finals.
It was a bit of a game of attrition too, because Northcote Park just didn't get off to a good start. They'd only had the one goal to half time. They were on 1-2-8 at half time, and then in the second half they actually outscored St Mary's. So St Mary's kicked 7 in the first half. Yeah, I think it was 7 in the first half. They only scored 2 more for the second half, right? Yeah. And then Northcote Park only kicked 1 in the first half and put 5 more on for the second half. So, I mean, don't write the Cougars off just yet, Ben, because I reckon they're a pretty good side. And I just reckon, bit of a foreign ground for both sides, Eltham as well, and maybe one just adapted a little bit quicker. Don't write Joey's Cougars off just yet, but well done to St Mary's, absolutely. Best players for St Mary's were Tommy Eames, Hugh and McGibbon, Kieran Abbott, Will Dean, Nicholas Dean and Ty Kitchell, with the major goal kicker being 4 to Tommy Eames, 2 to Nicholas Dean. And for Northcote Park, James McArdle, Ben Armstrong, Sammy Ahmad, Noah Langbourne, Ricky Fandrick and Xavier Crombie, and 3 goals to Michael Ahmad and 2 to Ricky Fandrick. Don't write them off just yet, the Cougars, as something's just fallen and broken in the background here. Can't be live radio. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I reckon big game next week for the Cougars, I'm tipping. And the second game, mate, was Old Paradians 12-15-87, accounted for Whittlesea 8-10-58, which will end Whittlesey's season right there. Old Paradian get the job done. My phone was remotely silent on Sunday night. Not sure what happened there, boys, but maybe he has lost my number. But no, great season of Whittlesea, Keeney. They did well to get there. They came from Mission Impossible, and very well done to Old Paradians. Second year up, won their first final. Massive.
Yeah, it's massive for OPs, but in relation to Whittlesea, they've had a pretty struggling year all year. So to get their nose over the line and play finals, they'd take that. I actually picked Whittlesea to win on the weekend, so egg on my face from OPs.
Yep, usually running down your chin, that egg too.
That's fantastic from OPs to second year up and playing finals. That's massive.
Absolute monster. All right, let's go to the next one. So Division 3, Ivanhoe, Lorimer. I called that game with Mickey T, who I might add was sensational in your absence. He filled in for me, mate, and he was awesome, mate. Does he know the players? Let me tell you that about Mickey T. He knows them backwards. But Ivanhoe went 19-4. That's 19-4, Keeney, 118 to Lorimer, 12-12-84. Now, a couple of stats for you, Keeney, right?
Yeah, I like these stats.
First 7 goals straight of the game went to Ivanhoe. They were 42 points up at the 13-minute mark of the first.
Yeah, they come out the blocks, mate. They definitely, there was no nerves there. They settled and just, they knew what
Unbelievable. And that was the difference, really. They kicked 8-1 in the first quarter. Lorimer got 2 very late goals in that quarter, or 2 goals in the quarter, 1 very late, 13 points, and it was catch-up footy. They did get back within 6 points in the third quarter. They just weren't able to claw it back, and Ivanhoe just slipped into 5th gear and took off. Maybe that extra kicking session from ex-AFL superstar Jason Heatley down there during the week got him over the line. Not sure what it was, but congratulations to Ivanhoe, straight into a grand final. Their first since they've come back or come into the Northern Football Netball League. And Lorimer will take a fair bit out of that, I think, Ben, because they weren't dismissed. They were in it. If they didn't get jumped, it would have been right down to the wire. Bit of learning there, probably the ground, without giving it any grief, the pocket on the opposite side of the members was horrendous. Yeah. I don't think it changed the game, because I feel like Lorimer used that to their advantage at some stage to slow the game down. But anyway, they will bounce back and they have a big game, as we're going to talk about shortly. But the best players for Ivanhoe: Daniel Horsfield, Riley Lowton, Patrick Della Rocca. I gave Patrick Della Rocca a couple of votes on the weekend. Alex Frederico, Ruben Blackmore-Moore, Cooper Tyler. I thought Horsfield was absolutely sensational, to be honest. I think I gave him 3, and I gave 2 to Patrick Della Rocca, and I gave my 1 vote, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I gave it to Joel Lawson, though, as he got them back in the game. And that's probably even a bit unfair to Luke Wilson. I think Mickey T gave it to Luke Wilson. I gave mine to Joel Lawson. So the goal kickers there, obviously 6 for Patrick Della Rocca. Amazing. Daniel Horsfield kicked 3, Riley Lowton 2, and then some singles. Best for Lorimer, Josh Leather, Josh Campbell, who we nicknamed Soups during the day. I'm not sure if that was his nickname, but it is now. Joel Lawson, Luke Wilson, Matty Keys, Noah Mooney, and goals, 4 goals to Joel Lawson. I think he was their major goal kicker. Yeah, him and Paddy Fitzgerald, both kicked 4 each. 2 to Ethan Jones. Thought Ethan Jones was very good, actually. When he got going, he was very, very good indeed. They had a lot of good players, though, too, Lorimer.
I'll watch the game back. Obviously, I wasn't there to watch it live, so I watched it back on the computer, and I think Lorimer were just so Doida focused. They just every time they went inside 50, it was Doida, and I
not only was it Doida, they had 3 on him every time.
Yeah, so it's like if. And credit to Ivanhoe for getting back and sort of, doing the work, but lower your eyes, Lorimer, and mate, you got other people out there that can kick goals. So I just think if I take anything away from the game, he's not to be so focused on one player. And
I think
I still think Lorimer and Ivanhoe play off in a big dance. And I tell you what, mate, it's an absolute belter of the grand final.
Well, it's not just there yet, because the next game was Moonda 8-10-58 to Watsonia 18-12-120. I wasn't there. You were. I spoke to a couple of people today that just said Watsonia overpowered them and do not write them off next week, because they have some amazing young talent.
Oh, of course, they've got some fantastic talent down there. I'll tell you what, I'd be... Cloakey would be laying in a Radox bath all day today, I think, just resting that body of his, because he did everything he could do to get that side over the line. So, and one thing, I love listening to coaches talk, and sort of... a quarter time, 3/4 time, always get in and listen. But Cloakey dragged those boys in at quarter time and spoke to them before Anthony McGregor got his hands on them to have a chat. And I tell you what, he will make an absolute fantastic coach one day, Cloakey. When he decides to finally hang up the boots, he'll be amazing. So just the way he was speaking to them, the direction and the belief to continue to roll the dice, he was awesome. Yep. So
I only hear good things about Cloakey. I've got to tell you, I don't hear anything bad about him, and I hear the way he treats opposition players on the ground. You're not gonna believe this when I tell you. He gives them tips. He tells them what they've done wrong to help them. What a guy! What an amazing guy! But they got the chocolates by 62 points, Watsy, and that shows their fair ink. And with Cloakey on half a leg, he might be down a quarter of a leg at the moment. But best players there for Moonda: Jacob Russell, Lockie Potter, Zach Chichia. Every week I never get that right. Jaden Bell, Christopher Roussos, and James Sekalovsky. And for Watsonia, Gout, also known as Seb Tarkson, apparently.
Huge.
Massive. Best on the ground, Gout. Luke Lowry. He's got an amazing leap, that young boy. Luke Lowry, Ryan Tallarico, James Latrosse, Declan Pearce, and Lachlan Bowden. 4 goals to Cameron Cloak, 4 to Luke Stone, 3 to Seb Tarkson, 3 to Bailey White. And for Moonda, it was 2 to Christian Evans, 2 to Kyle Green, and singles after that. All right, so that being said, this sets up an absolute killer-diller this week in the preliminary final for the last available spot. This Saturday, 2:10 p.m. Lorimer take on Watsonia. And Keeney, we can now announce we will be there calling the game.
Yeah, Ripper. I'm actually excited to call that game. I've watched Watsonia now 2 weeks in a row. I like what I see. And obviously, Lorimer's, you know what, Lorimer don't want that. They don't want to go out in straight sets. So this is going to be an absolute ripper game.
Yep, it will be. Now, give me a tip. You got to give me a tip going into this game now. I'm going to hold you accountable.
All right. I think Lorimer's been outstanding all year, as well as Ivanhoe, and Watsonia has just been getting the job done. But I can't see Lorimer letting this slip. I must say Lorimer by 24 points.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Lorimer by 5 goals. So we're about the same. That was my thought beforehand. Yep, we both agree with that. Let's go to Division 2. So this is the second round of finals. South Morang will take on St Mary's on Saturday at 2:10 p.m. at Eltham Central Park. So that is going to be a ripper of a game because St Mary's win this and they're into a grand final, and that extra week off will do them the world of good. But I'll help you out early here. South Morang will get this done.
I think South Morang will absolutely flex this week, and they'll get this job done by 47 points.
I don't think it's that much. I think it's more like 26, 27, but we both agree they'll get that done.
They're
and then the
flex,
game on.
mate. They're going to flex. They're going to flex their muscle this week.
I'll tell you the scary thing while we're on South Morang is I did a summary the other day of how many Division 1 players South Morang 1-pointers, and let me tell you, it's over 10.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we've seen there was a special appearance by Will Cookson this year.
Yeah.
JD didn't get to play at Hursty this year because he had Williamstown commitments all years, but he can go back there as a 1 point straight away. Lukey Lavolvo, there's just so many of them, right? So if they get up, Jeepers Creepers, I'm pretty sure they won't be coming back down again. Then you got Sunday, Northcote Park take on Old Paradians at Eltham Central Park, 2:10 p.m. Now, this is I think this is where Old Paradians' run ends, unfortunately, would be my tip. I think Northcote Park, to use your word, will flex this and get themselves, give themselves every chance to head to grand final time shortly. But I think Northcote Park get this done by about 17 points.
Yeah, well, but yeah, I was going to say 3 goals myself, Northcote Park. So, yeah.
We're on the right path now. We will head to Division 1, which I nearly lost on my screen here. 1,000 apologies. And this is the first week of finals, so this is going to be a ripper. Obviously, Heidelberg get the break, but the first one, Montmorency versus Diamond Creek, Epping Reserve on Saturday at 2:10 p.m. This is going to be a cracker of a game because one was a draw earlier in the year and one was a slight win from memory. I can't think that far back, but
wasn't it a point?
Something like that. It was very, very tight. But this is going to be.
I think it was a point, if I remember rightly. I could be wrong.
Now brace yourself for the hate mail from Joel Grote, but I think Montmorency are going to absolutely smash this home, and I'm going to say by 36 points they win this by. I think they are the second best side by a country mile.
I'd like to know with Matty Clark at Montmorency. I know he injured himself against Greensborough, and I love the way that he goes about it. I think if he plays, Mont gets the job done easy. That they're around the 26-27 mark. But I think they just get over the line. I still think Monty will win it, but I think they just get over the line. I'm saying a close one by 9 points.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Carlton VFL are still in finals. I think they're out from memory, which will give these guys back Taj Logan and Liam Farrer. So that will be one exceptional in for them, 2 exceptional ins. But Montmorency, I think, I don't know. I think Montmorency comfortably, but shit, I've been wrong all year. What's it matter? And then Bundoora will take on Greensborough on the Sunday at 2:10 p.m. They're 1-1 for the season each. Yeah. I think that, look, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one because Bundoora's finished higher. I think they've probably been more consistent. I know. But I am going to tip Greensy to get the job done. I know what's to come into that Greensborough side from the side that went on the park this week, and it's a very different team with those other players to come back in. So I'm going to call 2-point game Greensborough.
I don't think my heart will hold up to it. Look, I'm not too sure what Bundura's got to come back in, but let me tell you, Bundura looked every bit of a very classy side on Saturday. They were fantastic and obviously well coached by Scotto. My heart says Greensborough, and my head says Greensborough as well in a close one. Hope it's not this close, but I think we get over the line by one single goal.
Yep, I think you're right, 100%. Well, that's going to wrap up our show. We get through them a little bit quicker now because there's not so many sides to cover. We've got a huge show Wednesday night. We have a very special guest I won't announce just yet. I'm just waiting on the ultimate confirmation. We will catch each other again Saturday for the big game between Lorimer and What's Own. You'll be calling that live on Local Sports Network from 1:30. We'll do a full match preview. We're in for a huge game there. It's going to be a monster weekend of footy, and I assure you, next Monday, Benny, we're going to have a lot to talk about because there's going to be some big names and big scalps that fall out of footy next week.
Yeah, it certainly is. So, I'm looking forward to this week's finals for Division 1, 2, and 3. Just a quick shout out to all the boys.
Absolutely.
Go out there and give it your football, have fun, and hopefully you can bring up silverware and flag.
100%. Well, that's a quick wrap up. We've never done a show in 40 minutes in our life. Our intro used to go for 35, so we're on our way out. Guys, keep tuning in. We're going to keep doing this. And just because the season's about to end doesn't mean all of this ends. We got a huge off-season player movement, some extra shows coming up. It'll be more like this, Keeney, now that you're set up at home with your own roadcaster and microphone. Look at this. He's got his own gear, and we'll be able to do a lot more of this in the off-season as well, and radio and everything that goes with it. And from me and Keeney,